Hey guys, it's Raphael here again with another video, and today it's gonna be a topic that hasn't been discussed enough, okay? Now, this is about Avengers Endgame in particular, and also we're gonna be talking about the Hulk and how they have ruined his character in Endgame. Now, before I continue though, let me say that, spoiler alert, okay? Past this point, there will be some spoilers as I talk about the movie and the Hulk, so I'm giving you a chance to click out. And I know the movie has been released for a while now, but just for those who still haven't seen it yet, this is your warning. Okay, so let's continue on, and I'm gonna talk about Avengers Endgame, Avengers Age of Ultron, Infinity War, the first Avengers, and I'm also gonna be even covering Thor Ragnarok, which, in my opinion, was the start that the Hulk, his character started being wasted, they started ruining his character. Let's go with the fact that we were given this hype. Okay, so we were given the hyped up rematch between Hulk versus Thanos in Infinity War. Basically, Hulk had a bad showing throughout the film. He had less screen time, and then he was basically decimated in less than a minute. And this is Thanos, by the way, without the Power Stone, and keep in mind that Doctor Strange and Iron Man even put up a better fight against Thanos than Hulk himself did. So, we were basically forgiving because we believed that the Russo brothers, or whoever would directed Avengers 4, would give us a redemption for the Hulk after that disappointing showing in Infinity War. Now, again, I have no hate for the films, okay? Infinity War, Endgame, Civil War, Avengers 1, Avengers Age of Ultron, they were all really good films, okay? Now, the only thing I'm ranting about in particular is the Hulk and how they treated his character throughout the past few films. And let's start with the fact that Avengers Age of Ultron was probably the last time that Hulk actually had really good feats, and that was when he fought the Hulkbuster Iron Man, and he put up a great fight. They caused massive destruction throughout the city, and it wasn't until Hulk calmed down that eventually Iron Man was able to successfully knock him out, and that is because since he calmed down, he would get weaker, obviously, but throughout the fight, Iron Man was having a really hard time, so that movie portrayed his power levels fairly well. Now, Avengers 1 was probably his best showing, okay? So, he knocked the Thanos' huge ship during the Chitauri invasion. He knocked it with one punch, and then he slammed the hell out of Loki and basically immobilized him throughout the film until the end, until Thor captures him and sends him to Asgard to face his crimes from Odin himself, okay? So, Hulk had one of the best showings in Avengers 1. He was definitely the strongest Avenger during that time, alongside Iron Man and Thor and Captain America. He was probably one of the favorites. And even in his standalone film, The Incredible Hulk 2008, let me see if I can bring that up right now. This, by the way, I believe this movie is underrated. I actually liked it, and I don't understand why. It's basically seen as the black sheep of the MCU, so it's basically seen as people's least favorite, and I actually liked it, though, in my opinion. And his fight with Abomination was actually pretty good as well, okay? So, that was the film with Edward Norton. That's before they got recasted as Mark Ruffalo. Okay, so The Incredible Hulk, Avengers 1, and Avengers Age of Ultron portrayed the Hulk very well and showed him to be a powerful character. Very nice, okay? But let's start now with Thor Ragnarok. That is, in my opinion, that was the time that the Hulk started having problems, okay? They started portraying his character, kind of a less than satisfactory way. But it gets worse later on in Infinity War, and especially Endgame, which I will talk about later. Now, with Thor Ragnarok in particular, we get the Hulk versus Thor in Thor Ragnarok. It's pretty hyped up from the trailer, and unfortunately, what follows down is a less than satisfactory fight scene, which I'm probably in the minority here because I've seen the comments of this fight, and people seem to be satisfied, which, good for you. You still were satisfied with this fight, but in my opinion, I didn't like that the Hulk had to get help from the Grandmaster, so we had the Grandmaster knock out Thor with that thing on his neck, that the immobilized Thor so that Hulk can get a win. But before that, it looked like Thor was beating the hell out of him before that. Okay, so I know Hulk initially had the upper hand, but once Thor got serious and he basically Hulk was getting outmatched until the Grandmaster helped him. So without that, I kind of see that as, I wouldn't count that as a complete win for the Hulk because he had external help. He had help from the Grandmaster cheating in the fight. So we don't, his claim about him being the winner for the past 2 years, we don't know whether the Grandmaster had interfered in those previous fights as well. So that was supposed to build up Hulk as an intimidating character, but unfortunately it didn't quite hit the spot. Okay, so now we jump right into the Asgardian fight, the final fight in the bridge against, you know, Hellas Wolf, which, by the way, this Hulk versus Fenris, this is the fight I'm referring to. We see Hellas Wolf against we see Hellas Wolf against the Hulk, and first of all, okay, I mean, technically he did take the win there, but you know, he wasn't gonna win that shit, period. Hulk was not gonna win that fight. If the waterfall wasn't there to assist him, you know, that waterfall had to assist him in the fight. If he was not there, Hulk was not gonna win that fight, period. The wolf was beating him throughout the fight until he was lucky enough to land that punch that sent him flying and basically falling to his death. So that's the thing. Hulk did not win that fight by himself. He had the waterfall to assist him. Okay, so I don't chalk that up again as another complete win because of that. If he were to actually kill the wolf with his bare hands, that would have been I would give him the win for that. But that is not what happened. So then we get up to Surtur destroying Asgard, and while we see, okay, I know that Surtur is far more powerful than the Hulk, but they could have done much better than basically having Surtur swat him around like a fly. Okay, at least he should have done. Okay, I know he knocked him down, but that's all he did. Then chalk that up to another loss as well. So he's lost to Iron Man in Age of Ultron, and now that's Thor he lost to. And then also, technically he didn't lose against Surtur, but because it wouldn't really count as a fight because all that thing lasted like 20 seconds only, but he still looked like an ant compared to Surtur. Okay, and then now we jump over to Infinity War, which was probably one of the most disgraceful portrayals of the Hulk case. So we get him decimated in the first 5 minutes of the film by Thanos, and okay, I know he had the Power Stone in his glove, but let's be clear, he did not use the Power Stone, okay? It would have glowed if he had used it. So that is Thanos without the stones beating him up, and even Doctor Strange and Iron Man put up a far better fight than he did. So that brings up an interesting question as to the inconsistent power levels back then. Well, I mean, yeah, after watching Endgame, though, it will make more sense because even without the gauntlet, he was able to solo Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor all in the final fight. But that brings up to our next point, is that the Hulk didn't come out later on. So throughout Infinity War, we see Hulk's constant struggle with Banner, Hulk refusing to come out, and you screwed up real bad when the Russo brothers, the director, I believe it was Joe or Anthony Russo, I don't remember who it was. I think it was Anthony Russo who said that. Let me have a look. Russo brothers. Let me see. Yeah, Anthony Russo, Joseph Russo. Okay, well, whatever. Let's just say one of the directors, one of them said that the Hulk couldn't come out because he was not he was basically tired of helping out Banner, and he was just fed up with being used as a tool. That was the official explanation they gave us. So it's not that he was afraid of Thanos at all, but you screwed up really badly when your director has to come out and tell the audience that, okay? So that is when you made the Hulk look bad in the big screen. But as fans, we can forgive that because we were hyped up for Endgame, and we were given that Hulk would have a redemption in Endgame, and so basically the fans were forgiving overall of Infinity War's abysmal portrayal of the Hulk. And then let's jump right into Endgame, which is probably it was probably even worse. They managed to make it a worse portrayal than Infinity War, which at least At least Infinity War had him kick ass in the beginning, but before making him into a pussy throughout the rest of the film. But Endgame, okay, we get Professor Hulk, which, by the way, it's not a bad concept because the comics. Let me do Professor Hulk. Let me show you how it looks. Okay, Professor Hulk was one of the most popular incarnations of the Hulk in Marvel Comics. So that was not a bad idea, but the execution was I mean, especially after you made him look bad in the past few films, making him do Professor Hulk right now, basically turning him to a comedy fest, just did not sit well with me. Okay, so again, no hate for Endgame. Endgame was a great film, so all I'm ranting about here is the Hulk's portrayal. So after being teased a rematch and a redemption arc for him, that did not happen. We get him snapping his fingers. Okay, so Professor Hulk gauntlet. So he snaps his fingers with Iron Man's gauntlet, and that is probably one of his that's like his standout scene throughout the whole film, along with him being a funny dude in general. He took the portrayals, he took the selfies in the restaurant with those kids, and with Ant-Man, and people were trying to convince him to come along to the time traveling thing. So yeah, those are like the only two like memorable scenes that he did. I feel like he did not do anything substantial since the past few films, and even during Thor Ragnarok, he didn't do anything that much except beating Hail's Wolf. Okay, so now we get to the final fight of Avengers Endgame, which is one of the best scenes in the whole film, probably one of the best scenes in the MCU in general. But my only complaint was that the Hulk was again underused. Okay, we got him in the fight, and then he doesn't do anything substantial. He does not have the rematch, which is the most disappointingly thing of all. He did not redeem himself successfully in Endgame. In fact, I think they actually made him worse. Because I mean, at least we got the fat Thor, which most fans complain that ruined Thor's character, but honestly, in my opinion, this actually is realistic. Okay, Thor was not ruined at all in Endgame, and I will say why. Now, warning that this is an unpopular opinion, so maybe some of you may disagree here, but Thor, okay, let's look at what happened throughout the MCU. Thor basically lost, he lost Loki, he lost his mother, he lost his hammer, and basically, yeah, Thor lost Asgard, and then half of his survivors were wiped out, so we can see why Thor would eventually get depressed, and this is what he ends up as. So technically he was comedy relief, but at least it made sense, even though that was meant for comedy. But Hulk, though, doesn't have an excuse. He was treated badly throughout the whole film, and this was his best time. This was the best opportunity for them to redeem his character, and they blew it. They somehow blew it. Now, if he does not get redemption in Marvel's Phase 4, he would have gone out as the biggest disappointment and waste of potential in the whole MCU, period. I mean, at least, look, even Captain America had time to shine in Avengers Endgame. He was able to, he lifted Thor's hammer, and that basically made my entire theater clap, okay? That was one of Captain America's best scenes, along with him actually fighting Thanos himself. So, at least even Captain America outshined the freaking Hulk in Endgame, okay? It's just sad, man. Like, you look back at the previous films, you look back at Avengers 1, Incredible Hulk, and Age of Ultron, which were the times when the Hulk was actually not a laughing stock at this point, okay? So those were the times the Hulk was best portrayed, and it's really sad to see what they have done in the past 3 films. Anyway, even Scarlet Witch actually had a better screen time. She actually did something worthwhile against Thanos in the final fight. Okay, so I don't hate what they did, but it's just less than satisfactory. Though it was just disgraceful. So I have high hopes though that they would redeem him in Phase 4. But if they don't, he would have gone out as the biggest bitch if he has not get a redemption arc in Phase 4, the upcoming new films after Endgame. Anyway, so that's the rant over. Feel free to comment down below what you thought about this. If you thought he was portrayed well, comment down below and maybe try to sway my opinion. Because, yeah, I don't really want to hate the Hulk. Hulk was one of the best characters in the early Marvel films, so please try to convince me as well if you have time to, and explain why. But as of right now, this stands as my point as to what they've done with Talk's character. This is my opinion of what they have done with him. And now I understand that may be unpopular with some of the people here, so maybe some people will dislike. I don't really care, but at least try to say, at least try to counter my points as to why why it's not true. Okay, so that's it.